So according to FINRA, AMC's price just hit almost $14,000 a share. But is that all? No, AMC's price kept scaling up until it hit $142,978 a share. Now, I can keep my tinfoil hat on all day and say AMC's gonna go to this price. At the end of the day, the people who want to bitch and complain and say this is just a glitch, you guys are all crazy. How come the glitches only happen with GameStop and AMC on a consistent basis? There's clearly shit going on behind the scenes, and all this shows to me, Ape's consensus is right, and it's just a waiting game. This is the spring that we're waiting for, and this is what we're gonna see. Yo, what is going on, guys? AutoStocks here. So welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. But we do have a bit of DD to cover. So to show some support, hit that like, engage the video, smash that subscribe button, turn post notifications on, drop a comment down below what number like you are, and what you think about this AMC price glitch. Also, make sure to share the video. Let's get into it. So Barclays agrees to a $361 million settlement to resolve SEC charges relating to overissuance of securities. These are the same fraudulent fucks that quote-unquote oversold on January 28th, 16 billion of securities. However, this also tried to be covered up. What happened on January 28th, where they quote-unquote oversold securities, was when GameStop and AMC were PCO position closed only. The amount they profited off this, I couldn't even fathom. Again, the SEC slaps them on the wrist. This fund should be closed down. Look at all the penalties you can scroll through. You can look at the dates. Barclays, $7 billion worth of securities sold in error. 7.7 billion of securities after mistake. 415 million hit after overselling products to investors. Barclays shareholders sue in US over 17.6 billion debt. The list goes on and on. The next thing we're touching on is the ruptures on the Nord Stream natural gas pipeline system under the Baltic Sea has led to what is likely the biggest single release of climate damaging methane ever recorded. So far, it just seems like everything is falling apart, and we're going into World War III, we're going into economic crisis, we're going into environmental issues. Stuff is just not looking good. Just in Atlanta, Fed GDP now print at 2.43%, up from 0.27%. Also, US personal income and spending held up better than expected in August. People are getting smarter, and the Fed may or may not get more hawkish because they're slowly starting to realize that they haven't damaged the individual person enough yet. They haven't slowed down the economy to the way that they have to get it to. This is also scary for the market. Yellen has said with Congress vote today, the White House reaffirms our support to Ukraine with $4.5 billion in additional economic assistance. The US has provided a total of $13 billion in grants to support Ukraine's government and bolster its valiant resistance to Putin's illegal war. Now, this obviously isn't just, okay, let me help this country because we feel bad for them. No, this is clear as day, some sort of deals behind Ukraine and the US, and this is what the public sees to cover it up, in my opinion. Not only that, but elections coming up, Joe Biden wants to look good for himself. Just in, world's largest bank holds an estimated $9.4 billion in crypto. Guys, if you look at crypto, crypto is down bad right now. This just adds on central banks ultimately getting crushed. Now, this is just touching on the Barclays $16 billion in securities from January 28, 2021. Selling something you don't own is fraud and theft. Barclays oversold $16 billion in securities from January 28, 2021 to March 9, 2022. They committed fraud to the tune of $16 billion. And again, we went over this. Barclays was slapped on the wrist with a $361 million settlement. And again, if you scroll down and read in this article, it says they agreed to pay a $200 million civil penalty, interest of more than $161 million. And it was deemed satisfied. The offer was deemed satisfied. No shit, they're satisfied. They made a boatload more money. But let me tell you guys why I'm buying calls on AMC. Again, this isn't financial advice. I would go with calls at least a month out. Before we get into that, the Federal Reserve's reverse repos just hit another all-time high at $2.425 trillion. Alright guys, let's get a little bit into AMC and the chart. So the implied volatility is extremely low. This means contracts are cheap. The call to put volume ratio is a 50-50 at the moment. If you pop over to the chart, this is something I'm expecting next week. After the 4th of October, or somewhere in this area, I expect AMC to slowly get a rip to the upside until tapping this trend line again. And the reason this ends here, late October, October 21st, 22nd, is because this is where I think you're going to have either a big move up or a big move down and a very volatile move. If you take the bars pattern from after this major sell-off to where we are now, here's what you get. Now, this is the same exact movement you see from back here when it ran to 20, came down, pumped up, and dumped again, right? And then you see some things playing out inverse. This is inverse to that, but But then you see this double pop right here. If I zoom in, you guys can see that right here. Another inverse peak. And then ultimately, this was supposed to be the major rip, and this wasn't supposed to happen. This is where market makers and algorithms lost control. But even still, this ended up selling off, and you see the same thing. This chart matches to this. And then essentially the U in the cycle reset, peak, sell off, move right here, and then a little bit of chop. I think this is where AMC is at right now, and a little bit of chop. Now, the numbers don't have to match up the same, but the key points are that AMC had a major move back here, a major move back here, and a major move right here. This is the time frame we are looking at, and I think we have about 35 days to go. Again, it won't play out to the T, but I assume it will play out definitely close, as this does match up with the chart in general. Right, it would bounce off this trend line a couple times, break over it, and then get slapped down, essentially making retail think this thing's going to run, and then market makers bank on the calls. Overall, guys, I think the Fed is trying to save the S&P 500, but the way the economy is and the way shit is happening right now, I wouldn't go bullish on anything. With that being said, now is the time to play puts on specific tickers, not financial advice, but make sure you know how to make money in a down market and don't lose it all. This is where you can separate yourself from the 99%, or at least level yourself up. These are the markets that create old stone financially free killers. Overall, guys, that is it. Make sure to drop a comment down below, hit that like button, share the video, turn post notifications on, get your 10 free stocks linked in the description and pinned in the top comments, and also download MEXC Global, the crypto platform, using my link pinned in the top comments as well. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.